In this clip, I will explain the process for mobilizing and acquiring the biomass feedstocks for making advanced biofuels. Advanced biofuels are mostly made from lignocellulose or plant fiber, an abundant resource. Wood chips, straw and reed consist mostly of lignocellulose. Currently, we produce conventional biofuels from oils and fats in the case of biodiesel, or sugar and starch in the case of bioethanol, which can be blended with gasoline. These feedstocks are readily available and can be easily and efficiently converted into biofuels. However, the disadvantage of using these feedstocks is that they are limited in supply, and using these feedstocks may compete with food production. And there is a concern that as demand increases, we need more land to produce the feedstocks in large quantities, which directly or indirectly may result in a loss of natural land such as forest or grasslands. Lignocellulose, on the other hand, is often considered a waste or a residue. We can also grow it at low cost on land that is less suited for agriculture. The process to convert lignocellulose into transport fuels is, however, more complicated and takes more effort. Lignocellulose is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose, which at the molecular level are made up of sugars such as glucose. The matrix of cellulose and hemicellulose is protected by lignin. This makes it very hard to break down, which explains why it is harder to convert it into fuels or chemicals. How do we mobilize and set up delivery chains for lignocellulosic biomass? First, we need to categorize the biomass. Primary byproducts originate in the field. Examples are crop residues such as straw and tops and branches of tree felling. You generally have to pay for collecting it from the field and maybe also for the fertilizer value. And sometimes there are other competing uses, such as animal bedding. Secondary byproducts originate later in the production chain. Examples include sugar beet pulp, sawdust, and sugarcane bagasse. You sometimes have other competing uses, such as local energy production for the mill or paper making. Tertiary byproducts are collected as waste. Examples include household organic waste, used pellets, and demolition wood. Specific crops are the fourth category: miscanthus, switchgrass, and willow coppice. These crops can be grown on marginal or abandoned land and should not compete with food production. If you make a cost-supply curve, you plot the amount of biomass needed for a conversion factory against the cost per dry ton of the feedstock. You see that tertiary residues as secondary residues are cheapest to collect, while primary residues and crops are most expensive. In this figure, you see the net present value of a biofuel plant sourcing biomass locally as the size increases and biomass demand also increases. First, the profit increases as the factory size increases. A larger scale factory can produce biofuel at a lower cost. However, as the demand increases, the cost of biomass supply increases per ton supplied. You need to source from larger distance or buy more expensive biomass. At a certain size, the net present value decreases as the cost of biomass supply increases. The economies of scale do not match. So you have two options, as this table illustrates. Locate the advanced biofuel conversion plant near an abundant supply of lignocellulosic biomass, for example, an ethanol plant based in a straw growing region, or locate the advanced biofuel plant at a hub, such as a harbor, where a lignocellulosic intermediate commodity, such as pellets or pyrolysis oil, are supplied from different faraway places. In a biomass region, the biomass supply is cheap, security of supply is low, and there are fewer options for using existing infrastructure to lower your cost. The maximum size of the plant is smaller, and adding value to residues, such as selling the excess heat or CO2 or lignin, is more difficult. This makes siting the conversion plant at a hub look a lot more attractive. Certainly in the Netherlands, we depend on supply of low-cost lignocellulosic commodities for producing advanced biofuels and chemicals.